Hi, everybody. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Tonight we're having a special show. We got Krista and Brandi from Blondes and Booze, and we're going to dig into the subject a little bit of their last excursion to the LBL, and we're going to go into a little paranormal stuff maybe and talk about some of their stuff they have coming up, and hope you guys enjoy the show, and we're excited to have them here tonight, and I hope you just guys all enjoy everything.
We'll enjoy it.
We'll bring them up now. We'll get going. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Good to be here.
Yeah, it's really good to be here. Had a
Thanks for
super
coming.
day. It was a wonderful day.
It was.
Well, good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, I ate a lot of food. I took a nap.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty nice.
There you go.
Me
Wonderful day.
Yep.
Awesome.
So you guys have been really busy here lately, doing a lot of shows and talking about your last weekend. What, last weekend? Was that right?
Yeah, it was
Last
a week ago.
weekend.
Yeah. We went to the LBL and it's kind of like just a bunch of us friends go. We hang out and the bonus is if things happen.
And yes, things happened, and a lot of things that happened. It was quite a weekend.
It was
Quite a weekend.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything was seen from Letitia. I seen she's in chat. She saw only thing when she came back to camp, she was describing it as a miniature Mothman. And then our friend War Criminal 7 and Anna and Michelle. Oh no, Anna Michelle was with Letitia. War Criminal
Gabby.
7 and Gabby Henderson saw a dogman.
Wow.
Yeah.
They had a dogman sighting. And then Chris and I were in a cemetery,
Mhm.
and we had tree knocks.
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a really strange and wonderful weekend we had. I mean, we hadn't even really started talking about this until Friday. We had to keep hush hush because we didn't want to give too much away on our show, and we're like busting at the seams. We're like, oh, come on, stop asking questions, just because we want to tell you. We really want to tell you,
Yeah.
That was a great show.
Thank
Really
you.
was.
Thank you. We appreciate both of you guys for
Yes,
sure.
we do.
And
Aw.
honestly, I can't always be in on your live chats, but I do go back and watch. So just to let y'all know.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
tried to-
it's just like, because for me, I have to get up tomorrow's my early day, so I have to get up at 3 a.m. But my normal get up is at 3:30 a.m. So I mean, everything is usually when everybody comes on at 8 o'clock. I have to watch it, but the best thing is then I start watching it in the morning because I got a 40-minute commute to work,
Right.
and then I start watching it out, the rest of it on my lunch hour. So I'm like, I've got entertainment all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Unfortunately, I have a job where, I'm kind of by myself at times. And so I turn on our big TV there and listen to all the shows. And, everybody there knows I'm a freak and what I'm into. So they've actually kind of gotten into it. Like, what are they talking about? And yep, you heard it right.
Yeah. It's like, look, if you're into the paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, and you like pianos, go see Krista. She's got all of that.
Right.
Yeah, I saw you on Texas show, and then I'm sitting there thinking, man, I wish I could have been on there. He could have called me, and I would have been on. I'm just sitting there watching anyway.
Yeah. He it was last minute. It was like 3 minutes before showtime. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, she grabs it up. See, my AC went out in the house. Of course, this is just an ongoing saga of my life, but the AC went out in my part of the house because I have two separate units while my unit went out. So I'm on my way to the Home Depot going like, I got to find something, to help because it's just getting hotter and hotter. And he's putting that out. I'm like, well, unless you want Home Depot in the background, I really can't do that.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but Krista jumped on and did an amazing job. So I'm like, yay. Somebody covered that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about the smiley face killer, but I learned.
Yeah.
Smiley face killer.
Yeah.
And
There
that's
you go.
that's the best thing about being on Texas Front Porch and his platform is everybody can jump into everybody's role, regardless of what it is, what they're talking about. You know, if somebody can't make
Yeah.
it or they're having issues, we just jump right. If somebody jumps in,
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter who.
We never
Sometimes
leave
you
any of
might
us
get,
hanging.
yeah, sometimes you get one, sometimes you might get us all. It's like a whole party sometimes.
Yep. Whoever's available.
And
Yeah.
the chat is used to having train wrecks.
Yes.
Yes.
And honestly, it's nice because, Brandy and I have a lot of things coming up, and even personally, she's going on a trip to Texas, and it's not a Blondes thing. And I'm going out of town in June also. So we've got backup, and so we've got good people on our team for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Yeah,
like everybody on your shows.
Right.
We're good people.
Yeah, but I I can talk about mine a little bit. I'm going to investigate the haunted Hill House there in Mineral Wells, Texas.
Ooh.
So, yeah, see, I've got to keep up on that because that's my thing. I like to go to all these places, so I do have to duck out every now and again and go, investigate some ghosts and see what's happening.
Well,
I can't give that up.
I can let y'all know here too. We haven't put it out yet, but we are that evening. Blondes has a regular show, and then after at 10 p.m. Central, we're going to go live with Brandy at the Hill House.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
So it'll
So,
be cool. So
yeah, so I'm gonna
it's our
I'm gonna
premiere.
get
We just talked about it here.
Yay!
Awesome.
So you got the first exclusive,
Yeah.
All right. There you go, guys.
sneak
Breaking
peek into
news.
that. Yeah. Because she's gonna go ahead and do a regular show. And then I'm gonna get in and get all my equipment set up. Well, I gotta get all my equipment set up on me, I guess. I gotta get suited up. So I'll have my camera, my lights, my mics, and all of that stuff on, and we're gonna go find something.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's neat when you get to see live or happening right now, and then
Yeah.
people can start telling you, hey, I saw this behind you, or I saw
Right.
this.
Right.
That's exactly what we want. Now, I probably won't be able to read everything because I have to watch where I'm going. So
But
that's where
what I'll be
Krista.
doing.
That's
If
where
anybody
Krista
has
is going to come
questions-
in.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
anybody has
Krista's gonna
questions or
be-
sees something, then I'll tell
Yeah.
her.
Then
Yep.
she can tell me, and like I'll have earphones on and everything, so I'll be able to hear her and everything. I just won't be able to see like I'm seeing everything now.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, we don't need to see Brandy fall down on live TV.
no, no,
Just
no.
like Tex
I wanna
did.
see that.
Yeah, Tex did that.
Yeah, and he did it right off. He did it when he went off the air one night. He
Yeah.
just went out and nobody knew, and then everybody's looking for him, and they finally found him.
Yep. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun, be interesting. We can all get to go to Hill House with her.
Yeah.
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 Gonna be a
that'll be
fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fantastic run. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, we actually have a couple of those type of shows planned too. We've got another one from the Ray County Museum we're going to do, and but we'll all be together. And actually, Tex will be there at that one, so we'll all be together, and so we'll do some some good on locations.
Yeah,
So-
and we're kind of thinking we're gonna strap up 3 different people, which would probably be me, Krista, and Tex, and have us go in 3 different directions all at the same time.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be hard
So
to
that-
concentrate which one to watch as you guys are going to new places.
Yeah, because if you can
See, I
put it on
got
the
the upper hand on here. I know that museum like the back of my hand, so I can go to the most haunted place, and they don't know where they are.
Exactly. And that's going to be the greatest part is because if you can get it on a big screen, that would be the time to do it. That way you have all these separate views and cameras and we'll all be able to hear each other, of course. And, just go through. I
Yeah.
guess if somebody hollers, you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll see a whole bunch of cameras going up and down and running and
There's 3 floors, so we each get a floor.
Oh, put Tex down in the basement.
That's a good place to go.
I love the basement.
Yeah, we
I love the basement. I've had a lot of encounters in that basement, and they're in one particular room. It's an agriculture room, and it's got a big horse in it, just a fake horse, but there's a horse in there. And that's one of my favorite rooms. I've seen shadows in there and heard disembodied voices and drafts that you can't explain and just all kinds of stuff. So I like it. I like that spot. It's good.
There you go.
It is a good spot. We'll probably send Tex upstairs. There's kind of a grumpy man up there, so we might just have to
Send him up there. He'll probably talk him down. He'll be like, "Look, there's no reason to get your, to get your underwear, in a bunch."
Now you're
He'll
gonna
talk
have
him down out of anything.
Right.
you guys gonna have Rob man in the chat or anything, so you guys know what's going on?
It'll probably be Rob. Either somebody has to drive the show, so it'll either be Rob or Randy, our tech guy. I think he's coming. As long as he comes, he can actually run it from the museum from my computer, and we can all be on our phones. So
yeah, I mean, and if he doesn't come, just if he's not working or anything, then we'll have him run it. Because there's really not much to do. It's just all you do is like I do with Tex is I just watch the chat, and when he's walking and talking, and I'll just yell out to him, "Hey, they seen this. Look this way. Point to that direction. So and so asked this question."
yeah,
And it's kind of like being there.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we enjoy it. That's one of the fun things about this whole podcast thing is getting out there in the field and having a good time with it.
So how many years were you doing paranormal investigations before you went on YouTube?
Oh my gosh, 15 for me.
So how many years have you been on YouTube then?
2020 we started Blondes and Booze.
Okay.
So we weren't really on YouTube. We just kind of did like literally like the podcast one, Spotify's and stuff. YouTube has only been not even a year yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, YouTube is quite new for Blondes and Booze.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, we just we like talking about all this stuff, and COVID hit, and thought, well, what better way to talk about it,
Right.
Yeah, and then when I got asked to join Blondes and Booze, it still wasn't on a regular, I would call a regular basis.
Right.
But then when I joined Blondes and Booze, then it became a regular basis. So,
well, we got to where we needed a certain night, I mean, we all have families, we all have lives, so we can't schedule a show every week. We can't, so we're like, let's just do them on Thursday nights. And so that's how we started. And then when Bigfoot Michigan Rob and Tex approached us about joining their crew, it was a Friday night deal. So that's how we ended up doing both Friday and Thursday and Friday nights. So yeah.
And then add the woo.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we added the woo. Tex actually named us. He added the woo.
he had the, yes,
Yep.
go figure.
Yeah.
And that's where I got my name Swiss Miss from.
Yep.
Yep.
But BMR likes to call me Rando and Brando. That's Randy and Brandy. That's Rando and Brando, or what else does he call? Oh, I'm Little Tex too to everybody.
Yeah. Little Tex.
I'm Little Tex. So, so we've got that. I mean, the nicknames are fine, and we all have a good time on that platform, and we really do enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then you bring Randy on, and he gets his little tinfoil hat on.
Oh yeah.
He's my favorite guy. I swear, with that tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean,
he's got to make me like a tinfoil baseball hat, and we can just do our own thing. We'll just put them on. We'll make Krista one too, except we'll want to make one for her glasses, so she can put her glasses on through it.
There you go.
Why not?
Yeah. There you
We'll
go.
make her a whole helmet. It doesn't matter.
Get some Viking horns on there or something.
Right.
Pretty much.
That's a great idea. We need to do that.
And then we, and then Jason McLean's on with our crew, and then Bob
Yep.
Van Buren, and then Danielle Diva also.
And Donnie Joe.
Yep. Yep.
Donnie chose. I'm a Jason.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those guys are smart. Woo.
Jason just started a new show, right?
Yeah, Jason and Donnie started a new channel. Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
He still has the Jason McLean questions everything, so, and then Rob, sometimes he co-hosts with him on that too.
Mhm.
hmm Yeah. So
But it just seems like you're right. You get to a point where you get exhausted and you get tired and you don't feel like doing them. You just don't. And unfortunately, we all get there. But
mhm.
with me,
Right.
the more tired I am, the more I giggle. I don't know what's up with that. And
True
it just
story.
yeah, it just happens. So everybody finds it funny. I said, okay, well, so if I'm okay, excuse me if I misquote something or don't say something quite
Right.
right. I'm
Right.
not thinking.
Right.
I'm half asleep. It's okay.
Yeah, your
But
guys' is
anyway,
12
on our
o'clock
trip to the
shows.
LBL,
What's that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's what reminds me of when you guys pop in at midnight or something. You guys are just goofing around, having fun. You're all giggly and
You're driving
Yeah.
home from the LBL a few months ago, I think.
Yeah.
You
Oh
guys,
yeah.
you guys went live in the car.
We
That
did.
was hilarious.
We actually, that was on a tired night, and we were on our way back to Bart and Letitia's house, and we crashed there for the weekend, and we had just went to the LBL for the day, and we were slap happy.
Yep.
So yeah, that's us when we're slap happy for sure.
Well, that's what I like about this whole community. Everybody is not putting on an act in their shows. We're
Right.
all ourselves. We're just if
Exactly.
we mess up, we
Yep.
mess up. We don't care.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
I just love that about everybody.
I do too, and I like.
I mean, yeah, Chris and I get cut up. Yeah, we cut up real bad sometimes. Like we were in a hotel. Did I look out again? I'm having trouble
Yeah.
looking in
Yeah,
and out.
well,
I've got lightning going on.
Uh-oh.
We were in a hotel and she's like, hey, you want a show? And I am just worn out. I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I was sick too. Don't get me wrong, I was sick. And
were
it wasn't COVID this thing. It wasn't COVID. But I was sick. And she's like, you want dinner? I'm like, okay. So she's like, well, we need a chair. We need another. We only have one chair in the room, and we didn't have anywhere else to sit, or else we'd be very uncomfortable. So, I said, well, let's go down the front desk. She said, okay. So we went down the front desk and got a chair, and we got one of the nice ones with the rolly wheels. And so as we were going upstairs in the elevator with our chair, I'm like, hey, get in the chair. Get in the chair. I'm gonna push you. So we got this whole video of me running her all the way down the hallway to our room. And then I figured out I rolled her to the wrong room. So then I had to back up and roll into the right room. And I was like, oh my God, if anybody sees us, we're going to get kicked out of here. And
pretty
this is totally sober stuff.
Yeah,
This
I
is,
wasn't even drinking.
Yeah, we
You know,
saw
they're still
that one.
drinking?
We were just laughing.
We decided to do that night, and then I guess we texted Bigfoot Michigan Rob, because he come on too with us, and it was just fun night.
Yeah.
That was a great night.
yeah. I mean, when we were coming out of the LBO that one night, I mean, we were frozen solid. We were so cold, and it was in the car was sweet, and we were so exhilarated from
Brandi, you're cutting out.
the okay. Okay. Let me know when I'm good though.
Okay, try it again.
Okay. Am I good now? Let me try this.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
better.
Okay, good. As long as I don't freeze up. Anyway, so when we were coming out of the LBL, she's like, hey, she goes, I've never done a live TikTok. I'm like, I haven't either. I'm not even on TikTok. So go ahead,
yeah,
Krista,
you
tell the
did.
rest of that.
So we were trying to figure out how to do it, and I ended up hitting some button, and then I didn't know that like you can share lives with other people. That's the first and last time we ever did this, because I'm like, next thing we know, there's some girl laying on her bed. I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to be here, Brandi. So yeah, anyway, but we ended up, I think, just going on to Facebook and doing a Facebook Live.
Yeah, they let any random user pop into pop in with you and you're in with them, and then you never know who you're going to get. Or
No, and I didn't know that. So
Wow.
I was trying to, I had no idea. I'm like, how'd this chick show up in here? We're like, who are you? You know, and she's like, well, who are you?
Like, ooh, someone new.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was quite interesting to say the least. It was a fun night though. We had a good
Oop,
time.
she went poof. Maybe she'll come
Yeah.
She's
back.
probably going to
She'll be
restart
back.
or something.
Yeah, she'll be back.
Well, we can go ahead and just start discussing your trip to the LBL, and she can jump in when she gets back. I know you guys talked about stuff happening even on your way there,
Oh,
like during the drive a little bit.
That was actually the first time that we went to the LBL, and that was way back in January. Like she said, it was super cold, and when you get onto the park, it's a huge park. It's huge, but like it's got a weird vibe to it. And Brandy and I, both of our eyes started watering at the same time, which was, I don't know, not weird, but weird. You know, it wasn't nothing to write home about, but it was just kind of odd. And so that and then it's just the energy there that surrounds that place. It puts off, to me, it puts off a negative type energy. But yeah, we got there, and so this is back in January, and we had there was total of about 12 of us, and there's several that want to remain anonymous. They do their stuff from the sidelines, which is really cool, and I can respect that. But Brandy, actually, we were all sitting around. Barton was going to film Martin Groves on his encounter out there and make his YouTube video for it. And so we had a fire going, everybody's sitting around the fire, and Brandy, we all kind of look over, and I don't remember who said it at first, but they're like, did you see that? And we could see something peering out of the trees, and then it went back.
oh, wow.
Yeah. And it did this several times. And it wasn't just one of us, it was several of us that saw this. So fast forward, you know, Bart's doing his video, and throughout on the hillside. So we were the only ones out there. You know, this is January. It was cold, and it was kind of a hillside, and there were orbs. Some people saw white orbs. I personally saw a red and orangish orb, but it was about the size of a beach ball. And one of the guys that want to remain anonymous, he saw it with me. And then some saw blue orbs. And then, but you'd shine a light and there was nothing there. So another thing is, we were sitting around the fire, and Martin Groves was telling his story. And kind of on my right-hand side, Letitia and Gabby Henderson were sitting there with their backs to the woods. And you could hear something walking up behind them. You couldn't see anything, but you could hear it, and it was plain as day. So, and you know, even a squirrel sounds heavy in the woods on leaves, you know, but we would shine lights. There was nothing, no rabbits, no squirrels, no deer, no nothing. You'd move the lights and you'd hear it again. And at this time, you know, again, it's January. So there's no leaves on the trees, or, you know, so visibility is good, you know, so it was pretty crazy.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
it's nice that other people see the same thing. So
Yeah.
you're not the only one. You're getting clarification with others seeing the same thing.
Yes. Yep. So I apologize. I have a cough. My allergies are driving me nuts. So
Same here.
if
Yeah,
I go
my
mute,
allergies.
that's why.
Yep, my allergies have been bad. I'm coughing, sneezing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand. You get me laughing, I'm going to start coughing.
Yep. Yep. Me too. So it was that night at the LBL. It was good. I mean, it kind of left us like, oh, that's kind of weird, you know. And Brandy and I, you know, we were flesh and blood people, you know, like these creatures, you know, they bleed like the rest of us, you know. There's nothing weird about them. But I got to tell you, after that night, I have my doubts.
Wow.
You know, because where did the orbs come in from? However, you know, and I've talked to several other people, the place is very haunted too with ghosts. There could have been ghosts out there. Was it just a weird coincidence that we've seen these figures peeking out of trees and then we seen the orbs all night? I don't know. I can't say.
Well, it makes you wonder, what does it mean of the different colors?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I just
There
wish
you
we
go.
could figure that out, because many people are seeing different colors. There's got to be
Yeah.
a meaning behind them.
Yeah. And this weekend, I thought for sure we'd see some kind of orbs or something, but nobody's seen any orbs. We just seen the real things, or they did. I didn't, but yeah.
Yeah, I've been going out the last few nights to start checking our field, and I'm seeing very little orbs this year. So unless it's too early or what, but I'm kind of surprised. I'm seeing tons of bugs. I mean, you can tell the difference in bugs in the night vision. I only saw like a couple the other night, and I went, why? Interesting, because it's usually a field of orbs out there.
Right. It's crazy. I mean, it's like Nighthawk just said, there's over 200 cemeteries in the area. Absolutely there is. It's like every half mile there's an old cemetery.
Oh, wow. There's that many cemeteries just in
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Wow.
It's crazy. It really is. I don't know. It's one of the craziest places I've been to. And then, like I said, this past time was my third time going. And just every time, there's always something that happens. However, this was the most. And, and as far as back on the orbs, like I had seen with my eyes years ago at a place called Tri-County Truck Stop, I seen a blue orb. I was with attendees in the basement. And I know for a fact it was ghost, there wasn't nothing else in there. It was some sort of ghost. And that was the first time I'd ever seen an orb with my eyes, and I hadn't seen them for many years until the LBO. And then that was just weird because, there wasn't any light shining up there. There wasn't anybody walking up there with flashlights. And I can't explain that. I cannot explain that. It was too cold for bugs. We were freezing. We had a fire going to stay warm. So bugs aren't out at that time. I can't explain that.
I even did that last winter. I went out in our backyard. I froze to death, but I did take the binoculars out just to see. And I did see a couple. I tried to record, but they didn't really come up on the video. But I know they were out there last winter, and there should be no bugs.
Yeah, and if you go back and you watch Barton's video with Martin, it's in Humanoids with Barton Unley. If you watch that and you watch his episode with Martin Groves, at the 14-minute mark, you see a white orb, and he didn't even realize he got that, but you can see it. It comes on and disappears, and there is not a soul out there walking with a flashlight when he's telling his story.
Wow,
so that was kind of cool. That he actually captured it, not meaning to.
Now, were you a part of the orange moon, or did you see the white moon that night? Because I know some of you guys saw orange, some of you saw white.
Yeah, so there's so many of us that go. So we, it's just kind of a whatever everybody wants to do. Hey, I want to go here. Who wants to go? Type thing. So let me think about this here now. So Letitia, Michelle, and Anna, and War Criminals 7, Gabby and Elijah Henderson, they wanted to go out in the field, and they were going to go to another location that they were told to go check out. So they went and did that. And then when they came back, the rest of us had stayed at camp, and it was Brandi, myself, Bart, Daryl, and Martin Groves and his wife was there at camp, and then Brandi and our daughters. And the moon was white because Martin kept mentioning, look how beautiful that moon is, and if it was red, he would have said something. And Brandi got up every time he said it and looked at the moon, and she would have said, oh, it's red, or she would have remembered it was red, but she didn't. So yeah, we were white moon team.
Yeah.
So that was just weird because they were probably, I don't know, maybe 12 miles from us, guessing. That's just a guesstimate, but
wow.
Yeah. So it's just weird.
There she is.
There you are.
I had to move the whole thing. I don't know what's going on.
You ditched the alcohol.
I did. And normally I don't have a problem out there. It's a problem in my office, and that's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show about this part of the house. And it's usually that's the problem. Mm-hmm. So that's why I've been going out there. Well, then I just couldn't get anything, and I kept trying and trying and trying. It kept booting me out. And it wasn't the link, girl. It was fine. So I'm like, well, I've got one last thing. Let's go to the office. Mm-hmm. So I came in the office, and I'm like, yeah, I've got a great signal again.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Real quick, I was gonna answer here. I see Letitia answered. Nighthawk says, "Betcha Letitia had a nice sharp sword." LOL. And she wasn't solo. And then Dark Woods actually made a good comment about the orange orbs.
Yes.
And I didn't know that, so I learned something tonight. Thank you for that, because like I said, the one I saw was reddish orangish, and it was the size of a beach ball.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and one of the other guys saw it too, at the same time I did. So it was pretty crazy. It was an interesting night for sure.
Now, didn't you say that there was a lot more animals this last time? And like
Yes.
skunks and
So
stuff, more than normal, and more deer?
yes, when they went out, they saw they'd said over 100 deer. And honestly, I believe that. And that was their first trip.
Wow.
The deer were all over, and I can't remember what the speed limit is on the trace. I want to say maybe like 50, 55 possibly. But the second time that when they came back, and they said they had seen the dogman and the miniature mothman, we're like, okay, let's go back, So just driving back there, I know I didn't get over 35 mile an hour just because of all the deer that kept coming out in front of the road and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, wasn't it about a month ago that they had a part of it closed off?
They did, and they say it was due to the hogs.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, now there's tons of animals there.
Right. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of people that I know that go out there and they do the investigating, and they don't see anything where the hogs have tore up or, they leave something. And
I did not, when we were walking around everywhere we walked around, I did not see one spot, anything that would say there was a hog there.
Yeah.
And I've seen what kind of damage they can do, when they're tearing up that ground to get them bugs and whatever else they're trying to get in there. There wasn't any evidence whatsoever there was hogs.
Yeah.
They closed off some of those paths in those areas for a reason.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know, I think that was back when Joe and Jesse Helmet Howler were out there, and they were talking about that they had to close one of the parks, I believe, because of the hogs. However, I just, I have yet to see any trace of hogs out there myself.
Wow.
No. But they are doing some cleanup out there. Due to the tornado, high winds and everything, there is a lot of debris and things out there that they are getting cleaned up. You can see that they've got, excavators on the side of the road and all kinds of stuff, pulling that stuff up and getting it out of the way, and bulldozers. So, I mean, they are doing that.
Yeah.
But there are so many roads that are closed, and they've been closed a lot longer, than way before these storms were in there. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, you can still walk down in a bunch of them, but you have to walk a ways. It's not like it's the side of the road thing. You have to get down there and hike in there.
Yeah. And there's so many roads, off the trace that lead to nowhere. Some of them have barriers in front of them, where you have to get out and walk them. It's just like, there's so many lead to nowhere roads and trails out there that, it's crazy.
You guys go to the same area each time?
No, this time we did. We went to the kill site. Brandi and I did. And then, but as far as the cryptid side of things, they totally went to a different area that I was not familiar with. So,
wow.
Yeah. And it was actually right on the trace where both of the inhumanoids were seen. Right on the trace.
So that's where they saw the little miniature Mothman thing?
Yep. They seen it right there on the trace, as well as the dogman that was crossing the road.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy. It really is.
So you guys had the weird moon, lots of deer and all that stuff going on, and then you guys had the orbs, and then you guys had like a story about a bat or oversized bat.
That was Letitia and Anna and Michelle's, what they saw that looked like a miniature Mothman, and the way that they can describe it, it had bat-like wings, and an owl-like head without the beak, and it had the red eyes. And
Wow.
and Letitia actually does an impression of how it like turned around and swooped and flew off. Right.
Yeah,
In front of them.
yeah, you have to see it in person.
Yeah.
You know, you have to see it in person because she, she twists just like this thing, and everybody's like, "Yep, that's exactly what it did." So,
yeah, and that's the only way that they could describe it, was a miniature Mothman. So I have no idea what they saw, because we've looked, and Jonestead Farm, that's Anna, is in your chat, and she said laser red eyes. So
mhm,
saw it.
mhm.
Was it about the same time as the orange red moon?
I don't know. I don't know.
See, there's where it gets weird. That's
Mhm.
that's where it gets weird
Because they're
because
the ones that saw the red moon, right?
No,
That's-
it was the 6 that went out that saw the moon,
Oh,
Okay.
and then us at camp only seen a white moon. We're
Yeah.
team white moon.
Wow.
yeah, we're Team White Moon. Yeah, that's us.
Yeah,
That's
So,
our Native American tribe, Team White Moon.
Team
That's us.
White.
Team White Moon. That's us because that's all we saw. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all the spirit guides would allow us to see is that white moon.
Yeah,
You know,
Letitia just commented and said it was within an hour of seeing the red moon. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
yeah. And going back to Native American, that was Native American land. So I mean, things were really strange. We had so many things align itself for that weekend, such as they opened the dam to let more water in. So there was an influx of water going all over that hematite and that iron and all of that stuff in the water. We were just coming out of the full moon. I mean, what, a day or two, maybe even a day out of the full moon cycle. Plus the warm weather that was in. We had storms that were on their way. So I mean, you're talking about pressure, humidity, the effects of the moon, because everybody knows the moon will even affect the ocean and the way the waves roll in. So to me, it was just, there were so many things lined up that how could you not have something happen out there?
right.
right. Plus all the sunspots that's been going on. I think it was happening that weekend too, or right before that weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I said, there was a whole lot of things that were just lining up. But like I was talking about the Native American, this was Native American lands before it was even the lakes, because the lake is man-made. We all know that. There was actually a little town called Birmingham that was there, and the Department of Engineers decided they were going to use a dam to create electricity and energy. So they had moved everybody out of this town called Birmingham, and they flooded it. So when they flooded this town of Birmingham, there were cemeteries there, of course.
Yeah.
The loved ones of these people that were still there or could say something had the remains removed and moved to another location before it was flooded. But there are still bodies that there was nobody to say, hey, can you move them, or they need to be moved. So they were left.
Right.
So these graves and headstones are still under the waters, and you can see them during the winter time when the water is low. You can ride a boat out there and ride around. It's like a little island out there, and you can ride around that area and see it sticking right up out of the water, and of course, Barton and Letitia go out there and they find arrowheads everywhere and all this kind of different stuff up. So the place is one big graveyard.
Wow.
It really is. There are, I can't even tell you how many graveyards exactly are located in that area, including underwater.
I think it was Nighthawk that commented. He said there's over 200 cemeteries out there, and I absolutely believe that.
Yes.
Because there's one right on top of another.
Yes, William.
Every half mile.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, William is probably spot on because there are so many.
Yeah.
There are so many.
I'm pretty sure it's DA that we had on our show a few weeks ago, and he said it used to be called Land Between the Rivers
Mhm.
before they dammed it up and it turned into Land Between the
Yes.
Lakes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are two rivers you go over. And,
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
It's
can't
just that,
think of-
people don't realize that that was actually a town there that they flooded.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes you wonder what structures are still visible under that, under the water.
Under the
'Cause
water.
I mean, if anybody's bothered to go look,
Right.
Wow.
Mhm.
but I believe that at one time it was a bustling area. I mean, you've got fresh water. The ground out there is good. Of course, it had ore in it and all this other kind of stuff. So it had to have been good. They could have made a good living out there.
Mm-hmm.
Not a great one. I'm not going to say that, but a good living. It shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been really bad, according to whatever all the things that I read. But of course, when the ore came into play and they started mining for that and getting that's when everything kind of took a turn.
Yeah.
And they still have remnants of the furnaces that were out there. They actually have one that's almost fully intact out there that you can see that they used to smelt out the iron from the stones and things. So, I mean, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's slag in the water that's left over from that, and it's pretty blue stones, but they're out there.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's just
So-
it's crazy, crazy place. It really is. If anybody's in the area or gets the chance to go visit Land Between the Lakes, I
Oh,
highly
yeah.
recommend doing it. Just be safe and watch your back when you're out there.
Oh, take a drive through during the day. Just drive on. Just take a drive. I bet you'll get lost. I'll bet you get lost.
Just don't turn off the trace. You'll be okay.
Yeah. And if you go down one road, come back the same one you came. That's all I can say.
There you go.
GPS is not really reliable out there.
No, I bet.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you have to, if you go out there and you're hiking, make sure you got a compass.
Yeah.
And
I know.
I'm
I know out there too. You spoke of D.A. Roberts. He and Nick Valente had a dogman sighting out there
yeah.
at like 10 o'clock in the morning. So
Oh, during the day. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Wow.
I mean, things have been seen out there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you guys have any traces of the dog man while you were there this last time? Did you see anything or?
Brandy and I did not. We just had a little paranormal encounter there at the cemetery, but that was it. And even when they all came back and they seen the dogman and the miniature mothman, so it was Gabby and Elijah, War Criminal 7, myself, Bart, Letitia, my daughter, and Daryl. We all went back out, and they heard a growl, but nothing was seen or anything like that. So,
Now, was it at this cemetery that Brandy, when you heard that squeak?
yes.
Now, that's the squeak. I heard a squeak a couple times last summer myself, and the neighbors don't have a shed. They don't have a barn. There's nothing that would normally squeak that I would hear all the time.
Yeah.
It sounded like an old antique barn hinge. And that's the only thing I can describe.
Yeah, this
And
sounds
I heard-
it sounds real similar to that, but like a door opening or something, door creaking.
Yeah.
open.
Like a barn door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing over there that would make
Yeah.
that sound. Now, Robin McRae verified that the Sasquatch enjoyed squeaking at me.
Yeah.
So, but
You
it's
know, and-
interesting that you said a squeak, and I'm going, okay, there's more people that's hearing squeaks. I'm not the only one.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
This was definitely a door creaking sound. Definitely a door creaking sound. And I looked around because trees can make a similar sound.
Yes,
But
when the branches move, but that's a different sound.
Mhm.
That-
Well,
it
I heard
is.
sounded like an old, a wooden barn hinge. It just, it was just
Yeah.
not a normal squeak that I ever hear.
Yeah.
in my
We're standing
backyard.
in the middle of a cemetery. There is no doors.
Yeah.
There's no church around there where you could have a door. Nothing. It's just a cemetery.
And the trees were mature, but they were not old.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Yeah.
had me a little stumped, because normally if they're old, mature trees, you will
Mhm.
get that kind of creaking with the branches and things when it starts to sway in the wind. I know.
Yeah.
I've heard
Right.
it. I've heard that a million times. But
Yeah.
these trees are mature, but like I said, they're not old.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess from what we heard, now I don't know if this is true or not, that a storm rolled through and knocked pretty much all of those old trees down. They were gone. This is just the new growth from that, from I guess a few years back or something. So this is all new growth from that. So they're mature, but they're not old.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So you sure it wasn't a coffin squeaking, huh?
No.
no, I was not. I don't know.
You know,
I
Brandy,
don't know. Could have been a coffin opening up.
Brandy played it for Martin Groves while we was there at camp, and he said maybe it was a portal opening or something, you know, and it could possibly be.
Yeah, could be.
You know?
Yeah, and it also reminded me of, like the old, I want to call them like the stagecoach type thing, where they have the
Right.
wooden doors on these. It kind of sounded like that too. I mean, I've been to a couple of places where they've had these on display, and they'd open a door or something for you because they were still working,
Mhm.
and they kind of sounded like that, like an old wooden door, squeaky, like an old
Right.
hinge.
Definitely
And-
strange, no matter how you look at it, whether it was a paranormal, whether it was a cryptid, whether, the trees actually making the noise, who knows,
Yeah.
Yeah, and we weren't freaked out about it. We weren't scared. Krista didn't even hear it the first time.
Mhm. Nope.
She didn't even hear it, and I said, "Oh, boy, I heard that."
Yeah.
And
And I
that
think
was a weird sound for it
Yeah.
to be out here. We're in the middle of a cemetery, and to hear a creaky door. That
Mhm.
that was weird. And I had made note of that on the audio. On the audio. So I'm like, what can we do here? And then I'm like, I
Yeah.
turned a little bit because the wind was blowing, and I had to make sure it wasn't blowing in my mic. So I had to turn a little bit, and we're talking some more, and it happened again. She heard it that time, though.
Yeah.
She heard it that time.
Yeah.
So
it was about, we were at the cemetery that was probably a half mile from the kill site. So
Oh,
who
okay.
knows, from the 1982 kill site.
mhm.
So
Now, you guys had a weird owl too, right? A sighting of a weird owl or a big owl?
it wasn't, no, I think it was the miniature Mothman creature.
Yeah, that's what they were describing. That it was a
okay.
cross between an owl and a bat, but it
Yeah.
was large.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nighthawk said portals make very unusual sounds, pops, snaps, tree thumps, and others. And which that's interesting because we did get like a wood knock.
Yes, we did get a tree knock for sure. Did get a tree knock,
Okay.
and it was like we got a tree knock, and then this truck was coming. Out of all the times we were out there and no vehicle went by, out of
One
all
and
the
only
times
vehicle. Yeah.
we get a tree knock and a truck pulls up. And as it's pulling them on the audio itself, now you have to really get your earphones on and listen deep into it. But you hear the tree knock, then you hear the truck come, and as the truck is coming, you'll hear 3 more knocks in succession.
Oh.
So it's on there.
Yeah.
But
So
I
maybe
didn't
Mark's
like the
right,
truck.
You know, I don't know.
I don't know.
So
I
when
didn't
we
like the
went
truck
to,
either.
yeah,
I didn't like the
Interesting.
truck either, because I even mentioned it on the video and the audio, because my daughter was in the car. So I'm like, well, I've just got to make sure I, pay attention to what's going on with that truck and the car. I said, because
yeah,
I said, little miss is in there. I got to,
Little miss.
little miss. Yeah, I call her little miss.
Little miss.
yeah,
So
So-
she's in there, and I'm like, well, we're just going to pay attention to that because she's in there by herself. She
Yeah.
wasn't feeling that well that weekend. She wanted to go so bad. I mean, but so she was in there, and she was kind of taking a nap. So I'm like, I better watch that because little miss is in there. And then, as weird as it was, just like 3 or 4 minutes later, that truck seemed like it went down the road, turned around, and came right back.
hmm
Oh.
Oh.
it did. And when we were out there, the time before this last time, we went to the kill site. And it was late at night. It was dark, and you have to walk probably half mile to 3/4 of a mile to it. And we were back there, and people heard a disembodied voice, and I was running an EVP session at that time, and there's like some bunkers and stuff there, and what I think they are, maybe it's like maybe an old shower houses or something, possibly, could be, but it was really, really creepy, and you had the feeling definitely of being watched that night down there too. So it's, that whole place is weird.
Yeah. But that night, now again, I talking about my daughter not feeling well. We were back at the camp, and then after they had all the sightings, the dogman sighting, and then this other cryptid and humanoid sighting, they all decided to go out. Well, my daughter was already sleeping, and I'm like, I don't want to wake her. So I ended up staying in camp by myself. So I'm there, and I'm like, da. And let me tell you about feeling watched for sure.
Oh, I bet.
I could not get over that feeling. I'm like, it's got to be those dang skunks, I swear. they're out there watching me, because they had no fear. These skunks out there have no fear of humans.
They're come right up on you.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
I'm in the backyard quite a bit, and there is times that I sense being watched. Well, I have a flashlight with me all the time because we're next to this giant field. Yeah, there is times it's a skunk or something that is watching me. Then there is other times that you do feel like something's really watching you.
Yeah, and I did. So much so that before everybody left, I was already talking about it. Like, I feel like we're being watched. So I have a trail cam. So I went ahead and put my trail cam up. Well, I left it out there just for a little bit to see what happens when we were all out there. I didn't get anything. I got a footprint of somebody walking by every now and again when they went out into the path, and then I might have a bug. And my trail cam, I don't have it set up for video. I have it for set up 3 bursts of photos. That way I won't get a blur. I will get a right-on picture.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get anything. Well, everybody left. And I'm like, I'm going to reset that. I'm going to see what happens. So I put it out there, and I set it up. Well, I was outside for probably about an hour and a half until I totally creeped myself out. And I'm like, I'm going in. I'm going to go in. I'm going to watch YouTube. I'm going to figure out something, because I was just sitting outside listening to what was going on, and the wind was blowing a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, this is freaking me out enough. I'm going to go inside. So I went inside. Well, I woke up the next morning, and it was fairly early, because Krista, what time did you get back to camp?
It was probably 3 a.m. guessing.
Oh, wow.
So I woke up about 6. I'm going to say it was about 6 a.m. I woke up, and I went outside, and I went and grabbed that trail cam first thing, because that's just me. I'm like, I got to see. It took over 6,000 pictures.
Wow.
6,000.
Oh, wow.
So what is really kind of crazy about this too is War Criminal 7. So we had all rented a couple cabins. And behind their cabin, he found some tree structures. And then when I was leaving the park, there was a park ranger, believe it or not. I've got a Bigfoot sticker on the back of my car, so that's how he knew that I was with who I was with. But he told me and my daughter that there was 2 kids seen a dog man there in the campground, and there's over 15 reported sightings of Bigfoot crossing the road there in the campground.
Wow.
So I do not doubt War Criminal's, tree structure that he saw.
Right.
Yeah. So it's crazy. It's very crazy. And then come to find out, the guy started telling me about a cemetery that was on past our cabins. He said, you didn't have to go up on top of the hill to the other one you guys went to. You could have went right back. I'm like, well, I didn't know, but next time we know.
Yeah. Go to the closer one.
Yeah. Try something a little different, a different
The
way.
cabins you probably built on a cemetery too. Who knows?
Could be.
Yeah. Never know.
Yeah.
Well, have you had a chance to go through your videos yet? The 6,000 shots?
Well, you know, I've gone through about 1,500. I haven't had much time this week. I've gone about through 1,500 at a quick glance, you know, because they're in bursts of 3. So you can go through them fairly quickly to see if anything moves.
Mhm.
There was some wind, so when a tree branch would move, it would take 3 in succession. And I saw the bugs, and I saw, you know, a few things that I have to go back and really look at because I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah.
But I do have in a burst of 3, and I have to go back and find them. In a burst of 3, I have nothing. I have a light anomaly right in the middle of it. And then the next one, I have nothing.
Oh,
And
So
the
I
way
do
she
not,
had the trail cams pointed, there is nothing back there. It's just deep, dark woods. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And anytime that I had caught bugs, you could see them in the first frame, second frame, third frame. You can see them moving. But in this
Right.
particular set of 3 burst photos, there was nothing, light anomaly, nothing.
Right.
yeah. So it makes you wonder what set it off to start the three
Yeah.
pictures.
You know, and I have to bring it up on a big screen because I am not too sure this might not be eye shine.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh.
and I'm looking at it on something little as I'm flicking through.
Right.
I mean, because the way it looked, it didn't look like it's not a bug. Like I said, I decided the first and the third frame because it'll catch it coming in and going past. This was specifically in the middle, but it was caught in the trees and it's caught in between 2 branches and it's a light anomaly. So
Yeah.
I'll have to look closer to see if it could possibly be eye shine or just maybe another orb or some kind of other energy that is manifested there. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like I
But
said.
that's only in the first 1,500.
Yeah, who knows what you
I still have over 4,500 to go. They're all on this thing right here. They're all right here. So I'm like, and I've had my earphones out. I've had, you know, my computer out. I have been, you know, just digging into this as much as I can, which is hard because I've had no AC this week and it's still hot in here, you know, so you don't want to stay in here too long. But yeah, I have a lot of evidence to go through, more so than anybody else. I think if anybody else even has any evidence, I have a ton that I need to go through.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
So when are you going back?
We're talking about summer's just so hot, so we're thinking maybe the fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I bet the mosquitoes are really bad there in the summer.
I could imagine.
Oh.
Well, you know, I don't know because we were out there. It was warm. It
It was
warm.
warm, and they weren't bothering me.
I saw
this
one.
weekend, but
I saw one. I
yeah.
mean, I could go outside right now here at my house and I'd be swarmed with them.
Yeah.
But there, it was only like 1 or
Wow.
2. You know, it wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
Ticks.
Jonesstead Farms said,
Oh,
the
ticks.
ticks, they're
Yeah.
awful out there. However, I sprayed myself too, and I did not have any ticks at all.
I sprayed and sprayed and sprayed and sprayed. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just like, I am not doing this tick thing. We're not having this.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Yeah. So we'll wait until the fall, and it'd be a little cooler, and and then we'll go back then.
Yeah, and I still love the lakes and the water and in the fall too. I mean, I'll get out there. I don't care. I was in it this time when we went, and the water was warm. It was fine. I mean, I wouldn't go swimming in it, but your hands weren't cold or anything because I definitely was getting my hands and everything else in there looking for, hematite and whatever else I could find in there. But it was definitely warm.
Yeah, I've only been on Kentucky Lake, and that's fishing in a boat, so I don't know about anything else that was out there.
Yeah. I highly recommend going and knowing what's out there, and
Yes.
just
Do a little research on it. I mean, it's just a little bit, and all this stuff that I found to pop up. Just put flooded town, Kentucky, and that'll bring up Birmingham right there. It'll just bring it all up for you, and it's really kind of sad.
It really is. There is a very sad story, to the whole place. So, like I said, it's and and Bart has said that that's just one big cemetery. That's all the place is.
Now, did you guys get up early and experience any fog, or did it come in at night at all?
Mm-mm. I did
No.
not. No, I don't remember any of that.
Nope.
No.
You know,
No.
the only weird thing we had was 6 people saw an orange moon and the rest of us didn't.
Gene White moon.
Yeah, it was just weird. I'm telling you, it just I don't
Team
know.
what thing? That's us.
No,
So
it's only been the last couple of years that you actually started getting into the cryptids. You're
Mhm.
mainly
Yes.
paranormal.
Yes,
Yes.
that's how we started out, and you know, the paranormal, and then I had a Bigfoot encounter, and I didn't know it was a Bigfoot encounter. So then I just, you know, I want to know everything I can about all of them.
Yeah.
These creatures. And then I heard about Dogman. I'm like, what the heck is a Dogman? You know, I even kind of laughed about it. Now what are they coming out with, you know? And
Chicken man.
yeah, and
Chicken
now
man.
right.
You haven't heard of a chicken man yet.
No, not yet. Knock on wood. But yeah, it's yeah. And then now we've kind of jumped in to the cryptid side.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I never really paid it any mind growing up. I'm from Michigan. So yeah, Dogman and Bigfoot were a part of all the stories of where I
Mhm.
lived and growing up. I mean, as kids, we were running through those woods like nothing was ever gonna hurt us out there.
Yeah.
Right.
I know
And you
better.
won't let your kids go play in the woods now.
Yeah.
No,
Not by themselves.
No.
no.
And we did as kids, you know, and I think back, man, you know, like,
I mean, I ran those woods in Michigan when I
Yeah.
was a kid. You
Yeah.
know, we would go up, you know, to northern Michigan all the time, and my mom and dad let us loose.
yeah.
So
And I remember my dad telling me, you know, as a kid that the woods are the safest place you could get. There's no people out there, you know, there's nothing out there going to hurt you. And now I'm like, and you let me go out there as a kid and run around. So,
You know,
Right?
I was in junior high, you know, in the late 70s, and there was always on the radio, you know, something about a Bigfoot story or something like that.
yes,
And you know, we had Thunderbird sightings
yes,
in Illinois during the 70s, but yet we were out in the woods just like that. But you never heard of anybody necessarily being, you know, missing or
Right.
nobody locally that I knew or ever heard
Right.
of stories like that. But yet they were on the radio. But yet we were
Yeah.
out in the woods all the time with no problem. You know, were we
Right.
just lucky or?
Right. Yeah. I was never scared in the woods until I got older and realized what's out there.
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. You know, I'm more scared of the people out there than I am of the cryptids at this point.
Although
You
we
know,
did
the
not
cryptids.
encounter that dog man. You might think a little different had we been
Well,
with
you
Laura
know,
and Gabby.
I mean, you're thinking on an animal, thinking like an animal
Yeah.
to you know, kill something or eat something. I mean, it's just survival. That's basically what they're doing. This is how they live. But for
Yeah.
people, it's a whole different ballgame. You know,
Yeah.
their minds twisted. They're just out there to, I don't know, to
I don't
solve
know.
or have some, you know, fulfill some kind of fantasy, or I don't know about these sick people nowadays, but I'm scared, more scared of them than I am of a wild animal that is just doing what it does.
Right.
You know, I was kind of wondering though, also, you know, like I said, I grew up in the late 70s, you know, going into junior high, but we had, you know, people missing and we always took it as, like you said, serial killers or nut
Right.
jobs, you know.
Right.
But now it kind of makes me wonder, I wonder if some of those actually were like cryptid attacks or dog men
it
or
could have been.
something.
Yeah.
You know, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because if we could have the information then that we do now, I
Right.
think we'd be questioning a lot more of the missing persons reports back in the 70s. Absolutely. I mean, because again, being at the LBL 1982, there we go.
Yeah.
We got a whole massacre that happened. So what's to say that in the 70s that
Right.
the same thing wasn't happening? It
Right.
just wasn't televised, or the social media. We didn't have that. We didn't have
Right.
all of the stuff we have now. So the word isn't getting out. The information wasn't getting out. So now it's
They
kind
could
of like
keep it quiet back then.
yes, they could keep it quiet. Absolutely, Krista, you are 100% right.
Mhm.
They could keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of like the whole UFO thing. You know, they could keep everything under wraps and feed us information that they think we could tolerate as a
Right.
society.
Mhm.
Right.
And I mean, they're still trying to I think they're still trying to do that to a certain extent, you know, feed us information that they think we can tolerate.
Yeah.
They just don't know we're smarter now. We know
Mhm.
more now. And
We're
these
aware.
little, yeah, all these little things that they're leaking and blah, blah, blah. We already know. We
Oh,
already
yeah.
know. We already know. So it's kind of tell us something we don't know.
Yeah. Tell us something that doesn't surprise us.
Give us
Yeah.
anything, you know, hey. So yeah, I mean there is that. There is that. But you know, when I was sitting at the camp, it did feel reminiscent to a point when I was a kid and we'd just be out there just listening to just the animals. My phone was off. There wasn't any of that. I mean, Anna and Michelle were down in their tent already. So they were down there. So I didn't feel exactly alone, but I did feel
That
alone.
you were alone.
But I was alone. Yes. I was
Yeah.
like, they were down the hill, but I'm like, you know, I mean,
Right.
if it wants me, it's got me. There's nothing I can do about it, you know.
Yeah,
But
me and my friends, you know, in high school, we would sleep on the beach on the Illinois, no tents, no blankets, no sleeping bag or anything. And
yeah,
you know, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, we'd wake up, you know, or whatever, and like, well, what do you want to do? Well, so we'd swim across the river and go to the islands that are right across the river, back in the marshes and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, who knows what was back there? And
Mhm.
once again, you know, were we just lucky that we didn't encounter something? Well,
Right.
it wasn't even on our radar at the time, you know, that
Right.
there would be something out there, or
Yeah. Yep.
just
I
young
call
and
that our
stupid, I
young and
guess.
stupid days, Carol. Our young and stupid days.
Yep.
We just didn't know. Because, see, I already knew the stories of Dogman and Bigfoot, but I figured it was more along the lines of the boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
it's those stories people would tell us as kids to scare us. And, well,
Yep.
Monsters are
we should
real.
have paid more attention.
Yep.
Yeah, we a little bit earlier than that, probably 74. We were on our way to a friend's house at night for like a barbecue bonfire thing.
Right.
And my older sister and brother were in the station wagon with me. Was one of the old station wagons you actually sit in the back with no seat belts or anything. So, and on the radio, it actually came up, you know, about Bigfoot in Illinois. And so they started telling me stories, you know, and trying to get me scared. And they were, because I was younger than them. Well, on the way to that house, a big bat hit the front windshield as Dad was driving, and Mom just screamed bloody murder, obviously, you know, and Dad's sweeping and pulling over the side, you know. So here we go. We got ghost stories, Bigfoot, and big bat hits the window.
Wow.
Yeah. What part of Illinois are you guys in?
We're about 45 minutes north of Peoria.
Okay.
And we're right on the Illinois River. It's just a small, teeny, tiny little town. If you know where LaSalle, Peru is, we're in between Peoria and LaSalle, Peru.
Okay. So you're way north up there then.
Yeah, a little north. And it's about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours to Chicago. So it's still quite a ways from Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, you know, land between the lakes, it's really not that far into Kentucky when you cross in, you know, from the Illinois side.
Oh, is it on the east side?
I guess
it's
west side.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I thought you were on the east side. Yeah, there's a lot of creepy things on the east side of Kentucky too.
Yeah.
No, this is all on the west side.
West
side. That wouldn't be that far.
There's creepy things in every state. You just got to know where to look to find them.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
You know, but Krista and I, we took our girls. We took our girls out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's families out there taking camping and picnicking all the time out the LBL, you know, and
Well, they're
but-
not aware of anything.
but
They don't
they're-
believe it.
yeah,
Right.
they're like
Yeah.
oblivious to what's going on. So I don't know,
Yeah.
is that it, that we're more in tune, or we're
I'm wondering.
raising our awareness, or maybe they know that too, or they leave other people alone? I don't know how
I
that
think
works.
the government is covering it up very well. And that's why people aren't hearing about it. Because I mean, honestly, there was a lot of people out there, you know, during the day, you know, in
Yeah.
the campground and then the different campgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, there
a
was
lot of
bunches
people
of
out there.
kids running around on their bikes,
Boats out
no
on the
cameras.
water. I mean, it was just like a tourist, you know, happy, fun, go lucky place.
You know,
People,
but
they
did
don't,
I
they
let
don't believe it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did,
but-
however, run into a couple that was there. They were there on the paranormal cryptid side of things too. We talked to them for a little while, and so they were one of the few that I've met out there that, you know, knew what the stories out there. So, yeah.
Well,
Wow.
the thing is that there were kids running around. I didn't see their parents in sight. They were just everywhere.
Even at night, you know, 11 o'clock, you know, there's kids running the streets out there at the campground. And, you know, I know what's out there. Brandy and I wouldn't even let our kids go to our girls. They're 13. We wouldn't even let them go to the playground because we couldn't see them. You know, we know what's out there. You're not leaving our eyesight, you know. But however, you know, you got these little kids, 6, 7 years old, running all over out there. And I just can't do that. And I'm not only talking because of the cryptid type stuff, but you know, there's weirdos out there, you know, all these sex trafficking rings and, you know, there's things like that. So if I'm overprotective, maybe I am, but you know, I just wanted to be able to see them, you know.
So Letitia's from Pekin. Was
Yeah,
born in
I'm
Pekin.
assuming Illinois, because
Yeah.
Pekin, Illinois is really
Yeah.
close to us.
Yeah, I'm from a small little town on that side of the river near Peoria.
Yep.
That's where I was born and raised. I was kind of close to Pekin.
Yep.
I'm the only one that never left. I was
Yeah, you
born and raised here.
Wow.
I ended up finding this little town years ago. So, do you honestly feel that you have more, how do I word this? You have more awareness and alertness with the cryptid field than you do going into a haunted house? I mean,
No.
that's your, you know, that's what you've done for so many years. You have no fear going into a haunted house. So you feel more spooked or anything with the cryptids, or about the same, or
I don't get scared going into haunted locations. Ghosts don't scare me.
No, No.
However, these cryptid things do.
okay, all
They
right.
scare me.
yeah, because you
So there's a
don't know.
difference.
I mean, we're dealing. The paranormal field is we know how to deal with these things.
Mm-hmm.
The cryptid side of it, I have no idea how to deal with these things.
Yeah.
Not one idea on how. I mean, everybody's got their theories, and you know, they talk about the forest people and how they're nice, and they got their family units and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even as humans, we have our good humans and we have our bad humans.
Right.
There are
Right.
good animals and there are bad animals. I can't
Mhm.
distinguish who's a serial killer and who's not just by
Mhm.
looking at them.
Right.
So how would I be able to tell from one cryptid to the next if one's good or one's not?
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
can't. So it's all kind of like a guessing game. So it kind of scares me. Just like I was talking earlier about people scaring me, cryptids also scare me in the same aspect.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, you go out on a paranormal investigation, okay, you might get scared, you might get goosebumps,
Poked.
you might get a poltergeist that maybe can leave little scratches or bruises on you. But, you know, the dog man and Bigfoot, they're going to rip your face off and your
Right.
arms. I mean,
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, so you know, like I said, people can too. So I don't trust mankind with
Mhm.
you know, with my life or my child. I wouldn't trust it with a cryptid either.
Yeah.
You know, so because I mean, they're just out there doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
depending on exactly what they are and what they're made up of. I mean, like if they take on the animalistic type, things such as behaviors, well, they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to protect their own. They're going to attack if they
Mhm.
feel, you know, like they're in danger, they're going to do that. And I respect that. I respect that. So I'm very respectful every time I walk into the woods, because I'm like, oh, these things can hurt me. So, they scare me. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So have you had any paranormal ghost experience that actually did spook you and you weren't expecting something?
Yeah. And that's my own stupid fault. It's my stupid fault. And I'll go through the story really quick because I just told it the other day. So I'm in a haunted hospital. It's been abandoned for a while, and I'm focused on this door because we're watching it open and close.
Oh,
nobody's on this whole floor except for me and this other lady. So we're watching it open and close. Well, I have my back up, and I'm standing kind of against the wall, but yet kind of in the doorway of what used to be a surgical room. That's where the OR. So I'm standing there and I'm watching this door a little bit, and then it stops and I'm waiting, and I'm so focused on what's happening in front of me when something dropped behind me in this OR room. I about jumped out of my skin because normally I'd be prepared, because I try to prepare myself as, okay, anything can happen, be prepared. But I got focused in on this door. I lost sight of everything else around me and scared myself. It's my own fault because I wasn't aware of my surroundings. So,
wow.
Because I could have, took a different stance or stood a different way and saw in that door, saw in that room, maybe saw a shadow person in there, who knows, but no.
Right.
I was focused on that door.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mine have been when I've had, a couple true demonic encounters, and it was with those. That I would say that I was truly scared. They were not ghosts; they were true demons, and that's I would say probably the times when
that would freak me out too. I mean, of course, you cannot show any fear.
Can't show any fear, but after it's like you can breathe and like, oh my God!
But you can.
I just do. Yeah.
You just know deep down in your core that after you're done, I'm sure, Krista, that you're feeling like I'm gonna break down. Oh, not right now.
Right.
We're I'm gonna freak out, but we're gonna do this in a little bit. We're gonna deal with what we got on, and then we'll freak out.
Well, my one encounter, I could feel a demon breathing on my face. Like I could feel the breath. It was that close. And after and still when I think about it, it freaks me out. Like I can almost still feel it,
Yeah. And knowing what it was doing it, I think freaks you out. Because we've had spirits, pull our hair, touch our face, pull on our clothes, we've had all that. So that doesn't scare you so much because we've had that. Yeah. But it's when you know exactly what you're dealing with, then you're like, oh, this is just,
and going into cases like that too, you have to mentally prepare yourself, and when we go in, sometimes we don't know for sure what's in there, but if it, going by what like the homeowner or something says, we'll hit the sign. So we always go in prepared. However, we don't know exactly what it is until we get there. And, there's so many different ways you can tell if it's a true demonic entity. And, most of them are just ghosts. They're, nasty ghosts, but, and they can be just as badass as a demonic in certain ways, but they can be dealt with a whole different way than you do, you deal with the demonic a lot different than you do just with a nasty.
Now, before you felt the breath or the physical or anything, did you get that eerie feeling? You knew it was demonic presence?
I absolutely knew. Yeah, it was a case in south of Salina, Kansas that we traveled to, and these people, like when they had messaged us, the guy was he was almost 7 feet tall. He was a big boy, probably 400 pounds, and I don't mean obese. He was just a big boy, and he had been thrown across the room. Well, your normal ghosts don't have strength like that. It's usually something, more on the demonic type side that, has
some strength. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so we
Wow.
walked through the house and nothing. So the friend that I go with, they hide from him. And Brandy can attest his abilities are amazing. And
They are.
he lived in the Sally house in Atchison, Kansas, and he's kind of the one that put it in the spotlight. He was on the TV show Sightings many years ago about the Sally house. But he goes in and I'm kind of his backup. And we go in and this one particular case, you know, the demonic hide from him. I can find them. Walked all through this house. There wasn't nothing. Nothing. I didn't know ghosts, you know. So we went outside and there was a shed in the back, and my friend Kathy and we were kind of drawn down there, and we literally got rushed. Like something knocked us to the ground, and I was like, well, there it is, and it's definitely demonic.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, but we ended up taking care of it that night, and the lady had an exorcism, and to this day she is good, and she even tried out for American Idol. She did not succeed, but I mean, their whole life has changed. He had been in prison for 25 years. He was on the MS-13 gang. He had killed someone. He had done prison time for killing someone as a youngster. She was a survivor of the BTK killer. She was a prostitute. So, I mean,
Wow.
their lives were, you know, not ideal. And it's exactly what the demonic look for. And it was invited in.
Wow.
So most of the time you just have little tricksters that like to pull your hair, and
Mm-hmm.
they know
Yeah.
they're not going to make you jump, but once in a while you have the.
Yeah. See, I don't even jump from them anymore. They just, because, yeah. They
just go after Brandy.
Yeah,
Well, you know, because I just wasn't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
If I'd have been paying attention, and that's, you know, I mean, you got to learn your lesson, and that was a lesson that I learned. Do not stand in a doorway. Stand against a wall.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah. So,
You know,
I like to actually, you know, like last time I was at Malvern Manor, my team was, you know, in one part of it, and there was one particular hallway I like, and so I hung out there. You know, I like to kind of hang out by myself, because a lot of times you can get more, you know, if you're by yourself than, you know, in large groups and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you do clean out people's houses. It's not just going to a certain location for the weekend, but you go to people's houses and help them.
Well, we do go and help. We don't, you know, you can't make a ghost leave. You know, we can do a cleansing, but we don't guarantee, like, you know, this ghost is going to leave. You know, there's things we can do with the homeowner. And if we go there, honestly, a lot of the ghosts, they're Caspers. They're not negative. They just want to be seen and heard. So you can make agreements with them, like, hey, you know, you leave my kids, my dog alone. You don't come in my room. You don't come in the bathroom, but you can have, you know, the downstairs living room.
Right.
You know? And a lot of times, believe it or not, that works.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just treating them as human beings as they once were, you know, so we can do cleansings and, you know, maybe put some good energy, some good vibe in there. But we never like say, oh, you know, we can go in and get rid of this entity, unless we have the one guy that we do the negative cases with. He does get rid of them, and it's not through a cleansing or anything like that.
and those are the ones that really need to go.
Yeah. And that's a true full-on exorcism.
Yeah, I mean, we it's like you can't make them disappear. That's what Krista's trying to say, is you can't make them disappear. Energy is energy. It is not going anywhere, but you can move it. And that's what we do, is we go in and we move it. We remove it from your personal space. We make sure that, hey, if you want your bedroom blocked off, well, we'll make sure that happens. You know, we'll make sure that, you know, if you want it out of your house.
We give you the tools. We give you the tools.
Yes.
But we can't make an entity leave. We can't make, you know, you
can move them. But you have to have the intent yourself.
Yeah.
You have to want it to happen.
Yeah.
Because if you're just like, you can't expect anybody else to do a job that you need to do for yourself.
Right.
But we'll show you how to do it. will help you get through it, but
Yep.
you have to kind of keep it up. It's just kind of like one cleansing will not get rid of everything in your home. It won't. It is a process that you have to keep up and continually keep up.
Right,
And
and they
a
gotta
lot of
learn how
people-
to do it. You can't keep going back there for it. You have to kind of
Right.
show them, okay, this is what you do. You're gonna have to keep on doing this, and yeah, that
And
makes a
even
lot of
if you
sense.
don't have a ghost, and you want to put good energy in your home, you
Yes.
can, sage and do a cleansing. It doesn't have to be
Mhm.
because you have ghosts. You just want
Right.
to put the good energy in your home. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with
yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah. And doing a cleansing, that's not necessarily taking out
Right.
spirits. It's getting rid of negative energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I said, energy is energy. It comes in all, all emotions. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah.
but I think that a lot of people are under, this misconception that people are going to do, people come in and do this for you. And they portray that on TV all the time,
Right.
that they come in and they're going to clean this out. That's not how it works. It really doesn't.
Right.
Because a lot of things, even on YouTube, there's a lot of reputable people on YouTube that Krista and I watch that say, we can show you how this is done. And we can do it through the first time, but you're going to have to come with us. You're going to have to do this. The biggest mistake that people make is after the cleansing is done, they start talking to these spirits and inviting them back in unknowingly.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Whether
getting
they
ready to
know
say
or
that. Yeah.
they don't know, but they're bringing them right back in, and then they're calling you up, going,
Mhm.
this,
They're not changing their
you just came in
behavior.
and made it worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll blame you. They're like, hey, you made this worse. No, I didn't make it worse. You made it worse
Mm-hmm.
because you went in there
Right.
and said, hey, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get this under control. And then all of a sudden you turn around and then you're like, you're feeding it. You're
Well, and
feeding
that's
it.
one of the things
You
I will
can't.
tell you. Let's back up, Brandy. Let's back up. When we do a private case, it's not like that night we're going to go on through and do a full on investigation. We do a questionnaire. We check out with EMF and things like that. We look for a reasonable cause. And I always tell someone, if you're having an issue until we can get back here, and we try to get back as quick as we can. However, there's several of us that go, so schedules have to work. Just call me. I'll walk you through it. But you, as Brandy was kind of saying, you treat them as they were a human life. And
that
so
they were human.
you tell them, hey, get out of my bathroom. You're not allowed in here, and things like that. Or if you walk by and your door opens, and as hard as it is to do, and I understand this, but I tell people, act like it's no big deal. Just walk past it. Because the more like you're freaking out over it and oh my God, my door opened, you're feeding them. So as if you can just try to ignore some of it, and I know that's hard because, people are scared. I get that. And I always tell them, you can call me at 3:00 in the morning if you need to. And it's happened. I've had people call me at that time, I'll walk you through it or I'll sit with you until, we can work something out. However, but it's all, it's a process. So like with the TV show, it's not that quick. And then you got to give us time to go back and get our evidence. We're not going to leave that night and tell you, oh my gosh, you have, Billy Joe Bob here in your house or whatever. We have to go back by the evidence too.
And it takes time. You may have to go back 2 and 3 times to actually figure out exactly what you're dealing with. It's not just as simple as walking in. Oh, you have a spirit. There's not a class 1, class 2, class 3. It's kind of like, okay, it's not what kind of spirit. It's like, which spirit? Who are we dealing with? Because it was a person. Now it's just in spiritual form. It was a living, breathing person. Now it's in spiritual form. So we have to know who we're dealing with and what their problem is. Because they got a problem.
Yeah,
otherwise
and a lot
they
of
may not
times.
have a problem.
A lot of times we'll get reports, that parents are petrified, my kids are being affected by these things. And you go and they truly are. But a lot of times it's the parents feeding, and
because they're scared.
kids. And so,
They're
a a lot of time, you know, you got to work with the parents and the kids and be like, you know, this isn't, you know, someone bad, you know. So, and honestly, most of the hauntings that we go to for private cases are not negative. They're really not, you know, and
It's just
people.
somebody hanging out,
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 you know, and it's not necessarily their relative. As much as we'd love to have that as our relatives hanging around, a lot of the times it is not.
Mhm.
Right.
It's just somebody who has just come in
Yeah.
or was part of the property, an item. Of course, we all know about attachment items. It could be anything. Could be anything. So
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're pretty thorough, you
you
know.
just kind of have to deal with it.
Yeah. We definitely just don't.
Our best thing is, yeah, our best thing is if you don't want it there, ignore it.
Mhm.
Just ignore it. You know, if a door opens, if you don't want it open, just walk over there and close it. Don't make a big deal about it and just walk on. If you don't mind it being open, then walk past it. Just ignore it. You know, because
Right.
it takes energy for these things to manifest, you know, further, should I say, manifest further or want to anyway. So if you're not
Mhm.
giving it the attention, your energy, and everything, it will just
Mhm.
eventually, hopefully,
Mhm.
just either move on or be quiet.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, we get people get scared and stuff, you know. So
Mhm.
like I know, you know, it's hard for someone just to walk away, you know, when they get cabinet doors opening up or, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
However, you know, we just stress to them like, listen, until we can get there and tell you what you have, you know, and we'll remind them, you know, because most time people aren't being scratched, they're not, you know, anything like that. You know, we're like, listen, you haven't been hurt, they haven't touched you, you know, so it's nothing, you know, it's not a demon, because you
Mhm.
wouldn't believe how many people will
Yeah.
call and say, you know, contact us and I have a demon because this happened. Well, no, you don't.
You
But if you
know,
keep thinking
I'm just
about
the
it, you
kind of
will.
person. I'm just the kind of person. If they're up rattling around in the middle of the night, you can't sleep. Do what I do. Get up, open the door, yell at them, say, "Hey, look! If you're gonna play quietly. I gotta go to sleep." Shut the door. You know,
Yeah.
you know, that's me. It's just kind of like, look, you know, I got to, you know, and I get firm. I treat them like my children. It's
Mhm.
just kind of like, look, you know, I gotta sleep here. I realize you don't have to, and you want to see what everything is, and you're curious, but listen, not now.
Yeah.
Just not now. You know, that not that it always helps, but there has been times where it has helped me. You know, it's kind of like, we're not doing this. Krista and I were trying like heck one night. We're trying to get on the show and it kept blinking and messing. And I mean,
Mhm.
literally, and you could tell because it wasn't my internet. It was something else.
Mhm.
And Krista and I were getting mad, and you could hear Krista, you know, because like we are on StreamYard right now, Krista was like, you know what? You need to leave the electronics alone. And here I am on the other side. We're getting mad. It's kind of like the mama and the auntie are getting mad and they're yelling at a child. And we're saying, hey, leave the stuff alone. We need to use it.
Mhm.
And by God, we did. I
Yeah.
had the best signal that I had in weeks after
Wow.
that. After we
Wow.
scolded whatever was here, you know,
Yeah.
everything went fine. Now,
Yeah.
this is the first time I've been able to use my office in weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. 'Cause you haven't been in there in a while.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Nope,
Nope.
well,
nope.
it's been an hour and a half. If you
Yeah.
guys want to keep going, or we can end it now, we can have you back at a later date after one of your like
Right.
Rockford or your Iowa
Yeah.
house.
Well, my computer has dimmed, so it is not going to stay alive for very much longer. So, I mean, but Brandy's more than welcome to stay, whatever. I
Oh,
can't.
go ahead and just plug the Rockford
Oh
and
no,
your.
that's my 3 a.m. call. But see, yeah, I've got the 3 a.m. wake up. But I mean, I hope that maybe you two could get to Rockford and get up there to see us because we'll be so close to you.
Yeah, I
Right.
know.
Yeah, it's about like an hour and a half to get to Rockford.
Yeah, and it'd be a good event with the Kling brothers. They're awesome. You know, truly good people. So,
And then the Iowa one is in July, correct?
yeah, July 7th is Malvern Manor and in Malvern, Iowa.
July
And
8th,
it's
July 8th.
July 8th. That's right. My bad. But it's a Saturday, July 8th. Tickets are on sale through Eventbrite. And Tex is coming up from Texas. And then we have Richard Estep. And we have Dr. Rebecca Foster coming. We have Terry Mosby. And then Brandy and I. And then Josh Hurd, who owns the place. And he's an awesome guy. So everybody can, interact with them and investigate with them. And we're not selling a whole lot of tickets either, just to have more one-on-one time so people can, with the celebrities,
Well,
So,
where can someone purchase tickets at?
on Eventbrite or on Blondes and Booze on our Facebook group. I will share the link. It's on there too. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
That sounds awesome. Yeah. I wish we could go to that one, but that's on the west side of Iowa.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. So we got several places we're going.
No, that's on the east side. Or no, it is on the west side. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
the west
Oh, it's
side.
close to you.
Yep, it is on the west.
Yeah, we looked it up, and it would take several hours to get all the way to the west side. Yeah.
Yep. It's about a 6-hour drive for me.
Wow.
So yeah. Yep. So,
Maybe
It's
the
8.5
Rockford one,
for
that'll
me.
be closer.
Yeah. Now, when is the Rockford one?
it is July, the last weekend in July, the last Friday and Saturday.
Last weekend in July. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Sounds
the
good.
tickets are still available for that, and they have 3 different tiers that you can choose from. So you can either go to like just the speaker portion, or they have the speaker and a ghost hunting portion, or they have all things wrapped up into that. So you can take your pick.
All right. Well, everybody out there in chat, go to the Blondes and Booze Facebook page and YouTube and like and share and get this out there, and go to their Facebook, obviously, and buy some tickets for their events coming up. And it sounds like a really good time. We're really interested in going to at least one of them, hopefully Rockford.
Yeah, hopefully we can get to Rockford.
Yeah, come see us.
We will.
Yes, come see us. And there's many more chances, to meet up with
Richard
us too.
Estep
I
will
mean,
be there at that one also. Richard Estep will be at that one, and then also Dana Stricker will be at that one in Rockford. So
now, is that the only 2 you have coming up, or is there more this summer?
Oh, we're full.
There's
That's
more
what
full.
I thought you were full this summer with all kinds of events.
Yeah, we have Alabama Bigfoot Conference in June. We've got the Gatlinburg Bigfoot Conference in July. And then we got the Dogman
Conference in September.
Oh, wow.
And then in
We've
September, we're also
we also
doing,
have, by the way, we have SilCon coming up in Effingham.
I was just saying that.
Oh, were you?
I think you're lagging.
I didn't hear you over that. You had something going on in your background. I didn't hear you over that.
So, but yeah.
So that's Effingham, Illinois.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Sounds like you guys are busy.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we'll go ahead and call tonight. And it was so wonderful to have you guys on tonight. Great stories and adventures.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for allowing this, even though we found out that's Mother's Day. Oh, it's okay. You two will talk to each other. And,
oh, yeah.
And you agreed, oh, yeah, Mother's Day's fine.
Yep, we're good.
So I really appreciate it. We had a wonderful Mother's Day,
guys. Thank you. And we'll have you on Blonde sometime, too, and we'll talk UFOs.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll see you in chat for sure.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, everybody. I hope you had fun and enjoyed being on the show with us. And Krista and Brandi are just such wonderful people.
Yeah,
and
they are.
They just get around, and they're nice and they help people out, whatever. And they'll talk to you about that. That's how we end up meeting them and chat and talking to them about stuff that's going on in our place and things that we have questions about. And they're just great people. Everybody on that whole platform, you
Yeah,
know,
it
whether it's Tex or Bigfoot Michigan Rob or Jason, and all of them are just wonderful people, and it's just a great platform and a group of people that get to know.
Yeah, and everybody just supports each other. So before you go, make sure you hit the like button and share it out. If you haven't subscribed to our channel and William Nighthawk's channel, please subscribe to us. And I just really appreciate everyone showing up tonight. And I'm glad you enjoyed our guests.
Well, catch you next
All
time.
right. Bye, everyone. We love you.